Personal little sort of ancidental story today. I have been out on the tractor a little more with the tour. Keep meaning to get some roadside footage of that. And I do get talking to people on occasion. Nobody wants to be interviewed. Nobody wants to be on camera, I guess you call it. So today I went into town. Thought, I'll have a rare treat. I'll get a hot dog from the hot dog vendor guy. Now, he's a young kid. It seems kind of a bit odd to me that he decided, I don't know, I never asked him about his business. Well, what he's doing having a hot dog cart, because he seems quite shy, very reserved. And so anyways, there's nobody there. And I said, where's the crickets and where's the mealy bugs? And he's like, say what? And I'm like, well, what, you're just, everything you're serving here farts, and it puts a hole in the ozone. Haven't you heard about the climate crisis, and we all have to eat bugs? And he's kind of looking at me and he's like, no. And I'm like, we have like 4 bug food factories here in Canada now. He kind of looks at me for a minute and I go, that's right, you remember me, we had a talk about a year ago. He's like, oh yeah. And I said, you didn't know we had 4 bug food factories here? And he's like, no, I didn't know that. I said, you know what's going on in the Netherlands then, right? And yeah, so he opens right up. We're talking. I gave him one of my pamphlet things, right? He's looking at it, and he looks at the bottom. He goes, oh, Jordan Peterson, yeah, and the Rebel News, yeah, and oh yeah, Sky News from Australia. And I'm going, so like, you are awake, right? Aware. And he's like, looks around, he's like, well, yeah, some really funky stuff's happening. So the guy parks his truck, he comes over, and the kid, like, he tucks the flyer pamphlet in out of the way, right? Guy orders his sausage dog, whatever, goes back to his truck, gets his dog, takes the dog for a walk. So the kid and I are talking again, and I said, hey, you didn't have to hide the flyer from that guy. And he's like, well, the politics. And I'm like, yeah, well, he's flying 2 Canadian flags in his truck. Kid's like, oh, yeah, I get that. He goes, friends and loved ones over the last couple of years, I can't even talk to them and stuff, right? So our dialogue goes back and forth a little bit, right? And I'm like, so you do remember me from a year ago? He's like, yeah. And again, our dialogue progresses, and I'm going, my channel. He's like, it's grown that much? I was like, well, you haven't been following it, son. And he's like, well, no. And I'm like, well, hey, I don't blame you. I get sick of myself too. He's like, well, how did you grow so big? I said, well, I just got lucky one day and it's died right off again. But hey, I had my 15 minutes of fame, and I have had comments from around the world. I guess I have made some degree of difference, but, I can't get anybody to do an interview with me. You don't want to. And he's like, no, I'm sure you understand. And I'm like, yeah, I get this all the time. People will express their opinion to me, but as soon as I say, hey, do you want the world to know what your opinion is? No. Everybody's still scared. Fly your flag. I was hungry and wanted to get going. I would have liked to talk to the guy with his flags and his dog, see what he had to say. Maybe he'd talk to me. I'm sorry with the tractor awareness tour. I have put out 1,000 pamphlets, and I've covered, I don't know, a couple 100 miles on that tractor, but what the pamphlets accomplish, I don't know. The people I talk to, well, if they're willing to talk to me and not chase me off, they kind of are aware of what's going on, but the denial and the fear and the false hope, it's kind of discouraging. But I have another well, that's not 1,000, but I have another 1,000 of those to go, and I do hope to get out and show you some roadside tour from the blistering pace of an 8N tractor. So I just thought I'd make a kind of cheery video today, just to wrap the day up, because things are going left hard and fast here in Canada. Try and wake up the other people, please.